But I probably want to come back to Ahmed and Zara, and the reason they are on the panel is because they're actually responding in a very different and very creative way through the Bankstown Poetry Slam. And so I want to maybe explore beyond these kind of short-term type responses, or responses, as Arnie mentioned, that kind of come back on themselves and feed our own Western guilt, how we might be responding differently. And I want to throw it to Blake as well, so the three young people on the panel. I want to ask them how, they might see that living in a world that seems really bleak, how you're responding.
Okay, so basically, for those who don't know, the Bankstown Poetry Slam was founded about 3 years ago, on the premise that there's nothing in Western Sydney that gives people like us, Ahmed and I, a platform to express ourselves. And spoken word poetry is a very powerful tool because it is essentially a way in which you can engage with really, really topical issues and really kind of taboo stuff, and experiences, like my experience with being discriminated against in applying for a job because of the hijab. I was told that I didn't look the part, sorry. So stuff like that, where I can't, just go up to people and say, hey, you know what happened to me? I think it's really important to facilitate a means for that kind of narrative to come out in the community.
Yeah, just the context of how the Bankstown Poetry Slam started. So myself and Sarah, we started about 3 years ago at Bankstown Art Centre, and it originated because we kept going to the city and listening to older white folk talk about, their struggles, and that did not relate to us. And we're like, cool, great. And then when we get up and do our poems, and they're like, huh? What? That's cool. Oh, what does that mean? And then we just never felt connected. We never felt home there. So we said, okay, how come there is about 6 events a month over there, and then we don't have a single thing in Western Sydney? So we, kind of even scoped out some places, and we said, listen, we want to do this poetry event in Western Sydney. Everyone laughed. They're like, what? Poetry? Western Sydney? Specifically Bankstown? What do you want? Slam? Islam? Is that an Islamic thing? What is it? Please tell us more. Send us an email. Who's organising? Oh, just you. Okay, who are you? So all these, you go, okay, I really just want a room that I can get my friends together, and we just well, that already sounds dangerous, I think. So we thought, you know what, that's fine. We'll just kind of roll with it. And we found a really cool space at Bankstown Development Service, and they said, what do you want? We said, we just want a microphone in 3 hours once a month. And they go, okay, this is too easy. And we kind of just said, okay, cool, we'll be here in a month. And then we got here, we dragged all our friends and family along, and forced them to sit and listen to what was probably terrible poetry at the time. And now, forward to now, we have about 300, 400 people rocking up a month. And I think the only attractive thing about it is that it was truth. When people walked into that room, it was safe, it was truthful, and everyone was there to actually, and you know what, we have a no media policy. We are sick of vultures coming in and wanting to appropriate everyone's story, and I think that's enough. So people, when they come there, they're safe, they are comfortable, and they can say whatever they want. There's no censorship, and I think we need more of that, and that's what we're contributing to the community, up to the point now we're running school programs and giving workshops in schools, and we had 2 programs called The Real Talk and Stand Tall, Speak Out, and they had 150 kids from Western Sydney and 100 kids from the eastern suburbs. So, that's what we're going to try to do, and hopefully with that momentum keep going forward. But that's just an example of what we're doing. Hopefully shed some light.
Yeah, and I think it's also really interesting that people say, oh my God, wow, I didn't know that these stories still were existed, and I didn't know that people were still experiencing these things, and I didn't know that people were creative in this area. These are actually things that we've heard. So I definitely do think that it's important for us to identify gaps. If anyone wants to make a change, to identify gaps. For us, it was we identified an artistic gap, and then go from there.
I can probably attest to what the Bankstown Poetry Slam is like, because I'm a regular attendee at BPS. And even just the power of what Sarah just described of, someone getting up and as soon as they open their mouth actually making you recognise that they're defying a whole lot of stereotypes that you have about them. So like the fact that there is that much talent and creativity at Bankstown or at this university at UWS, where we're often told, oh, let's look at the demographics of the university or the cultural diversity of this university, and that's kind of where the engagement ends.